Got some funky smells. I have great news. The Lord is providing in many ways. For example, all my overtime at work has been canceled for the next few weeks, which some would say that's terrible. Why, KP, would you be excited about that? Because it's telling me I need to get some things done. First 4, 5, 6 hours of every day I'm off. I'm off 4 days a week, and I work 3 12s, so I can knock out some stuff while Mercy's at school in the morning and while Megan's doing her thing at the school in the morning. So, yeah, that's my plan. All right, let me get it going. We'll fire this thing up, see how bad this varnish fuel has gummed up these injectors again, and we'll go from there. All right, I got power. Can't get it to turn over. Probably ground. Little did I know, the fuel inertia safety switch was popped. And I fiddled for 40 minutes before I found it. All right, we've got power. Got that ground. This air box is gonna fall. I'm expecting it to spit and sputter. Sorry you missed the climax there. The fuel inertia switch was tripped. Probably when I was throwing that harness around. I'm actually shocked it didn't sputter or nothing. Let me redo that. Let's give her a key. Let's see if we can drive it for a minute. I'm good with that. I went ahead and ordered 4 timing chains and guides for this 5.4. I think it's time to do the chain. I was considering selling the truck, and my family has talked me into keeping it. We're going to go ahead and do some camshafts, some chains, make this thing perfecto. Is it just me, or do these Mercury wheels actually look halfway decent? It's just me. That's some funky smells. Oh, forgot my seat wasn't bolted.
The cab is making so much noise. It's only tacked in 4 positions. This was really just a test. So all this noise you hear is the cab rattling and popping.
Oh, there's some noises. It is getting hot in here. It's like those exhaust manifolds are just pushing heat right through this cowl, and I think they are. I always get this thing like a foot off center. I don't know why. I took these old fender brackets for the crownvic that you're looking at right. I can't figure that out. Right here. I have taken them, repurposed them, and what we're going to do is I'm going to weld them to the frame or bolt them. Welding's so much easier, but it's got to bolt to something, so probably, I'll tell you what, I might weld them to the core support and then bolt them to the frame. That way I can throw a little washer in there, like a rubber washer, and try to isolate some vibration. So this is going to set my height and my width, and then once this is set in, I'm going to come in here and cut out a gap between the frame rail and the support. So I don't want to be hearing that going down the road. And these are the actual brackets that supported the crownvic front end. So they were in the same style. They actually tied the fender down into the firewall. So if you're doing this, save those brackets. They are very, very stout. So I think we're going to use them pretty good. And then I'll end up cutting out the rest of this rust and go from there. That's my game plan for the moment. Once I finish that, I got to take them out, sand up the frame first, and then when I get them in, get it welded, bolted, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to cut this frame rail even on both sides, and then I'm going to try to cut, you see I already made a big cut here. I'm going to cut this plate off of each of these frame rail pieces I cut out, and then I'm going to weld them back in, and then I will weld in my cross member right there that ties the frame rails together. And that cross member is going to be pretty critical for keeping this front end nice and square. And I just went down the road drove the truck for a little bit, and this thing's moving all over the place. It's pretty bad. So I gotta get some things welded in, get this body going, go from there. example, a very quick down and dirty example that you can weld pretty decent with a little flux cord. And just full disclaimer, I am not using name brand wire. I tried some cheap stuff from Harbor Freight. It's not perfect by no means. I'm running a 20 amp, you know. That's not bad just for a little cheap 20 amp welder. I'm good with that. Show you my settings real quick. My speed was pretty low, about 1.5, and I'm running on D for my voltage. I really want to get me a new gas welder, a nice one. Maybe one day, we'll see. That's gonna be a treat to myself if this channel takes off. I'm gonna keep welding these up on the back and then give her a little beams there. On a side note, take a look at my windows. I've got 2 windows there on the left of the shop from this view. My game plan for this winter, I want to install 2 identical windows to the right. And that way I can have some cross flow in the shop. As of right now, I don't have an exhaust fan. I have a fan blowing, but I need an actual attic fan, the old school ones. If anybody knows where to find one of those, let me know in the comments. So I'm sitting here thinking, do I want to weld this to the frame? Do I want to bolt it? And then I realized that I can weld this in because the fenders are still going to unbolt. I would rather weld it, just to be honest with you. I've got to dial back on my voltage because I'm burning in nice on this frame rail and this little tube. So I think I'm about to weld these to the core support, and which kind of sucks because I just welded them to the frame and now the core support is in a way where it's going to be difficult to grind to get a clean surface. But we'll see. We'll do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run a level real quick from the door, and then where the cab and the door are, there's that body line that's level. And based on how I have the vehicle, it should be a little high in the front. I'm sorry, a little high in the back because I don't have the bed on. So I'm gonna run that level. I need a digital level, the little angle finder, whatever. I don't have one yet. But I'm gonna do that with my high side a little on the rear, and then I'll set the front fender line to the same because it's the same body line. And I will set this passenger side. Then I'm going to do the, driver's side. Then I'm going to do the passenger side. But in between that, I need to make sure that my front tires are even on tire pressure because I believe my front right is dropped. And these are old tires and they're just leaking air. So my thought is, let me do that, and I'll get myself pretty squared up. I'll take a couple measurements, and we will rock and roll. So another thing is this fender is not setting into the cab lower mount correctly, and what's happened is that bolt has just become stuck in there. It's corroded and the tab broke off. I need to cut it out. So I'm going to set my front and then do all that jazz too. So we'll see if we can get that done, making some good progress, and I've got my Beats headphones. I guess they're made by Apple. I'm listening to the Unashamed podcast. I'm in like episode 950-ish to 57. I got a little out of order there, but I'm listening to those. They're talking about Ephesians and basically how people are they're focusing on the church, and they're forgetting that it's not the way of the church, it's Jesus. So if you focus on Jesus, you don't have to focus on the church. You don't have to focus on all of that building and structure made by man. You need to focus on Jesus. That's what I'm listening to right now. Let me square this up, and maybe they'll square me up on that. A little Bible thought. Go from there. So let me rock on. So what I'm doing here, I have placed a spare tire jack in Crown Vic on the other side, same spot, lifted and squared my edge here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. What you can see is I'm squaring here and I'm high here, so I need to come down. If I remember correctly, this body line has always been off. Because check this out. My pinstripes are lined up. My hood's lined up, but right here is not. We're going to hold what we got there. I need to bend that down. So what happened is one of these, I had to bend it to get it in a position I could unbolt it. It was that one. And I bent it on this clamp right here just to kind of get it into the right position. So I need to bring it down a little bit more to this one. And I'm trying to land it right in here. We'll throw a weld. I grabbed a measuring tape in between this clip and I measured off my frame rails. And believe it or not, the frame rails are not square in this exact section. They're about a 1/4 inch out. And this is part of a 20-year-old vehicle, I guess. And on top of that, the body on this F100 is not square by no means. From the letter F to the letter D on those emblems on the front of this truck, they are just beat all over the place. So we're going to make this the best situation possible while making it very strong. Battery died, got that changed out. I'm going to show you what we're working with. This is my flux core weld, putting in some nice bracket. This thing is in here. So this is tying in my core support. And I'm about to spill my coffee. We are down to the frame rail. Run up in here.
I'm gonna bring this whole plate over, let it sit about an inch to 3/4 inch over. I'll cut this edge off. That should give me some room right here. I gotta think about vibration, things like that. I really don't want to have a small fender bender and end up puncturing the radiator. So I'm trying to get this big brace up here and then I can sneak a bumper in. All right, there's a lot of time lapse in this one, sorry. You know, I'm not a multi-million-dollar production here, it's just me. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to give a big shout out to my mom and dad. This welder was a gift when I was approximately 15, 14, something like that. I can't remember. It's lasted a long time. I'm in my early 30s and it's still kicking. So thank you. And that's going to wrap this video up. I'm going to zoom in, take a look at these body lines between the hood and the front fascia. Pretty proud of this. It took a lot of work the last month. So that's it. We'll see you on the next one.